Listening to the heart. It's one of the most fundamental skills in all of medicine. But let's be honest, it can also be one of the most intimidating. In this quick explainer, we're going to demystify cardiac auscultation and help you turn that stethoscope into your most powerful diagnostic tool.
So, have you ever put a stethoscope on a patient's chest and just heard a confusing jumble of sounds? If so, you are definitely not alone. It's a classic medical student moment, right? Feeling all that pressure to hear something significant, but you're only hearing noise. But here's the good news. We can build a simple, solid mental framework right now that will completely change the way you listen. Let's go from feeling confused to feeling confident. Okay, first things first. Before we can even begin to understand what we're hearing, we've got to know where we should be listening. Think of the chest like a map with 4 critical landmarks. This is the absolute foundation of everything else we're going to talk about. And to remember this map, we're going to use a classic, maybe slightly cynical mnemonic that has been passed down for generations. But you know what? It's simple, it's memorable, and it just works every time. So here it is, all physicians take money. Go ahead and say it with me. All physicians take money. It's pretty unforgettable, right? Now let's break down what each of those words actually stands for on our chest map. All stands for the aortic area. That's at the second right intercostal space. Physicians is for the pulmonic area. Just hop across the sternum to the second left. Take is for the tricuspid area, a little further down at the 4th left. And finally, money is for the mitral area, at the 5th left intercostal space, right in the mid-clavicular line. That's it. That's your map. APTM. So we have our map. Now, what's the normal sound we should expect to hear at these posts? Well, it's the classic rhythm of life itself, the Lub-Dub. These are your first and second heart sounds, S1 and S2. Let's start with S1, that first sound you hear, the lub. It's a deeper, kind of booming sound that signals the start of the heart's big contraction. Now, what is that lub? It represents a huge mechanical event. It's the forceful sound of the mitral and tricuspid valves snapping shut as the ventricles begin to contract. S1 marks the beginning of systole, the big squeeze. And right after the lub, you get the dub, S2. It's typically a bit shorter, a little higher pitched. Lub, dub, lub, dub. Get that rhythm in your head. And that dub, well, it signals the end of the squeeze. It's the sound of the aortic and pulmonic valves closing right after blood has been ejected from the heart. So S2 marks the end of systole and the start of diastole, which is the relaxation and filling phase. This part is absolutely crucial. The space from lub to dub is systole. The pause after the dub is diastole. Fantastic. You've totally mastered the normal rhythm. But sometimes the heart adds these extra beats, creating a rhythm that sounds kind of like a galloping horse. We call these S3 and S4 sounds, or gallops. And wouldn't you know it, we remember these with 2 more mnemonics. An S3 gallop sounds like Kentucky, Lub-Dub-Dub. That extra sound points to volume overload. Think of a patient in heart failure with just too much fluid. Then there's the S4 gallop, which sounds like Tennessee, Da-Lub-Dub. This sound comes from the atrium forcefully kicking blood into a stiff ventricle, something you often see in conditions of pressure overload, like long-standing hypertension. All right, now beyond these extra beats, you might also hear a whooshing or a swishing noise. These are murmurs, and they're a dead giveaway for turbulent, chaotic blood flow. Murmurs are usually caused by one of 2 problems. First up is stenosis. This is when a valve gets all stiff and fails to open all the way. The best way to think of it is like a rusty, narrow door hinge. Imagine blood trying to jet through that tiny, restricted opening. That turbulence is what creates that distinct whoosh. The second problem is regurgitation. With this one, the valve is just incompetent. It doesn't close tightly. Think of it like a leaky seal, allowing blood to flow backward. And of course, that leaky backward jet of blood also creates turbulence. So let's keep it simple. Stenosis is a problem with opening, regurgitation is a problem with closing. Okay, so we've covered the map, the normal rhythm, the gallops, and the physics of murmurs. Now, let's combine all of this into a simple, powerful diagnostic formula you can use every single time you listen to a heart. When you hear something abnormal, don't panic. Just follow these 3 steps. 1. Where are you on the map? Aortic, pulmonic, tricuspid, or mitral? That's your location. 2. When is it happening in the cycle? Is it between the lub and the dub?
That's systole. Or is it after the dub? That's diastole. That's your timing. And 3, what does it sound like? An extra beat or a whoosh? That's the character of the sound.
And really, this is the key. Knowing the location of the sound and its timing in the cardiac cycle will get you most of the way to a diagnosis. The character of the sound just helps you refine it. You now have the map, the rhythm, and the formula. The only thing left to do is practice. So grab your stethoscope, find a patient, and just listen.